felt to me as if it was the same thing as being called a kafir and all of that.
Because when one of the sons called me uncle, he's like, don't call him uncle, he's a kwerekwere, you know the kwerekwere.
They call people kwerekwere is what. But we have to get used to that. Because we know we are foreigners.
This is our first day of filming.
Day one documentary.
So my partner Sia and I decided to do a documentary on xenophobia. I wanted to visually and objectively film the voice and survivors of xenophobia. Not really from the South Africans' perspective, but from the survivors' perspective as to why they think South Africans do this to them. To be completely honest, I didn't even know that there was xenophobia in PE. I thought it was a thing strictly reserved for Johannesburg and Durban.
Life is up and down. South Africa is a good country, but it depends on where you are.
Yeah, truly it's disturbing because you don't know how safe you are. Anything can happen because, you are being attacked.
2 months ago, they came, started knocking door by door. Door by door.
They handle people like beast, animal, hitting people unnecessarily. You don't know who is who.
And they take your stuff, they are nothing. Sometimes you say, please, don't do this one, they don't care. They take your stuff, they say, fucking go out.
Accusing foreigners of stealing their jobs amid rising food prices, high unemployment and a crime rate among the world's highest.
By the death of a local
and
woman,
the police are trying to contain a wave of rape and robbery which is black on black.
Yeah, what has happened here in the black station, the community is very upset with the people coming from
attempted to gain entry. When they failed, they threw a petrol bomb through a window, severely injuring the two men.
Despite all our research, xenophobia was still very far away from me. I couldn't identify with the victims as much as I wanted, which is why we set out to make this piece. We sought the help of Philip, a kind Ugandan qualified teacher, who despite his long and legal life in South Africa, is still considered a refugee.
Where are you from, madam?
Belgium.
Oh, Belgium.
Europe.
I know Brussels.
Brussels, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, something here as well. I've got some nice stuffs. I came here to look for greener pastures. Yeah, like you can see what I'm doing. I used to do this home, but home is like the competition is too much. So here I think it's better than home, because here the tourists are more than back home. So if you do something like this, there's a chance of getting, at least earning something than when you are home, because of the competition. Business is like that, up and down. It's not like stable every time, it's not static, it's up and down. But of which you have to survive. Yeah, than to go on the street and do with drugs. Life is up and down. South Africa is a good country, but it depends on where you are. If you are staying in location, it's hard.
C and I were driving in Corsten, and we were fine. People weren't looking at us funny because we blend in. We're black, like everyone else there was black, we were fine. But as soon as we got out of the car with Mohammed and Wurdi, our translators, people looked at us completely differently. I've never felt that type of disdain from my fellow black person before in my entire life. As black South Africans, women, we were walking around with Somalian men. So it looked like the Somalian men were stealing South African women in that sense. I felt unsafe in that moment when I was with the Somalis purely because I knew South Africans were looking at us, judging us, assuming that we were sleeping with Somalians. Because we were in an unsafe area, we didn't want to risk our lives or their lives by drawing attention to ourselves, so we had to be adaptable and unnoticeable. Quickly in, quickly out.
rabto dadka qaxootiga balse dadka oo shacabka xenophobia qof baa ku imaanay qofkii wuxuu ku leeyahay mesela waxa wataa 20 ran marka wato oo sheegay siiro wuxuu ku leeyahay waxaan ku dhiibay 100 ran ama 200 ran hadii aad tiraahdo waxaas iima dhiibine naga tag aad tiraahdo xenophobia already waa bilaabay aniga shakhsi ahaantayda waxa soo gaaray waxa ka jirto wiilashii shaqeynaya mid la dilay.
You find that there's a lot of Somalis nationals operating at townships where jobs are scarce, unemployment is very high. A lot of South African kids are dropping out of high school, getting into a lot of different acts, And with Somalis, what happens is that they behave in a way that they don't care about the communities the business operated. They see the community as a way of them to make money. They don't see themselves as part of the community. They keep them to themselves. So they don't go interact with the grannies. They don't go see what's happening. They don't go support community activities.
haween kasta haweenan boolis wacayna ma jirta haweenka sabdida adiga koral soo fula wala soo garaaca waxyaalo badan meesha xataa adiga had koran laga fuji haweenka sabdida nabad ma lagu saxdo.
So basically, there's no interaction between them, you know, and the community leaders, the councillors, the government workers, they don't even do their part where they're trying to create the bridge between Somalis and South Africans. What they do is they just let it be. So when there's a problem happening between Somali and South African, instead of getting a meeting between the two community leaders, say, you know what, bring South African members, bring Somali community, bring some South African communities, let them interact. What they do is they have a meeting just for South Africans. The next day they have a meeting just for Somalis. That itself is showing a message that, hey, do not interact with these people, keep it away from them.
Because
hawee dhaca South Africa ama dilka South Africa maalin kastana way dhacaan anagay ugu dhacaan dad kale ku dhacaan waad arkaysaa anoo hadda town joogo albaabka ay xiran wax ammaan iyo wax kalsooni ma jiraan.
We managed to organize some Somali translators, Mohammed and Wurdi, who acted as our tour guides, spokespersons, and bodyguards. Because the Somali community in Kosten is so closely knit, Mohammed and Wurdi introduced us to all our Somali characters. My nervousness and sense of hopelessness increased when Mohammed and Wurdi directed us to a compound of 5 Somali refugee families. Mohammed explained that most Somalis live in close quarters of each other for security reasons. The walk into the compound was quiet, cold, and very intimidating. Being in that space of their houses, rather their homes, was warm and comfortable until you tried to open a door or a window. It wasn't so easy trying to get out of their homes or try to get in, and that scared me. The fact that they have to protect themselves to those extremes that their homes become their prisons.
way noo dhaartan ku waliba weekend ida noogu daran guriga qamrada dhalada ku cabaan bimaaniksa nagu jishibiyaan ugu soo tuuraan waxay isticmaalaan wayna tuureen ilmaha xataa way iga laayeen wayna buskareeyaan guriga daaqadiisa gadaal la dhawo jajabanta maalin kasta waa la geliyaa ku dhaqo waan u dilay xataa macaartu kuwa gadaale ilmahayna 2 jeer way wadaqran ku labadeeda wiil waa weyn mid kasta waa wadaqray madaxa
cid wax ka qabanaysana mala maalin kastana way dhacaan anagay ugu dhacaan dad kale ku dhacaan waad arkaysaa anoo hadda town joogo albaabka ay xiran waxaan qoyday wadan nabadgelyo leh oo safe oo wadankayga dibka ka taagnayna oo ku noolaan karnaa qoyda.
So if you come at night, you can't imagine. You can't go outside. They take the knife, the children, and the wife. You can't go the outside. Sometimes they buy their stuff in the shop, 10 rand, 20 rand. They can't take it. And then she comes, she cry. They say they roll for me. You can't do nothing. Last night they killed someone there, outside there. A guy, Somalian, a Malawian guy.
ku habeenkii markaas seexanaysan cabsi ku seexanayso suuxi markaas soo toosan cabsi ku soo toosayso aad markaas taatay last night Malawiana lagu dilay horteena
maxaa loo dilay
lacagta ka qaadanayaan wayna dhacayaan kaamburan shaqo ka yimid street keenana lagu dilay lacagta laga qaatay midina waa la dhacay wan dhinta ninka markaas soo xasto waa naxay shalay dilay wallahi bilaal kan ku dilay soo midi kala daalay ana xataa soo absana ku dhaa.
I mean, like my parents, my family, they crossed almost 16 to 20 countries to be here. The question you have to ask yourself, why South Africa? Why not all those African countries but here? So Africa offers a lot more benefits to refugees than other countries offer. So Africa is not as bad as people make it sound, But the problem is the way people interpret, the way people live within the country, the documentation, the government, If South Africa could offer foreign nationals who qualify the proper documentation, the country's economy would be booming by now. Because you got people who are hardworking, people who are more open-minded, who are open to do their own stuff instead of depending on the government.
I felt helpless. Literally, there was nothing I could do to help. I was disgusted with myself that the only sort of help that I could give them in that moment was my pity.
The royal household says the king was...
The CBD was another space that we wanted to explore. In Johannesburg and Durban, the attacks often took place in the city centre, so we wanted to see if the same applied to Port Elizabeth. As a PE local, Siya explained that many foreign nationals had businesses in these spaces. Our CBD characters had an air of pride about them. I guess they were proud of establishing themselves in a foreign land. I mean, I couldn't help but be proud with them.
For instance, I'm in Nigeria, but I'm not doing drugs. Wherever I go, you say you guys are selling drugs. You are insulting my person. You know what I'm saying? You can't just say you are selling drugs. Here I've been employing people since over 10 years. They are all South Africans. I got other businesses that are working for me. We are paying them. We never own them for one day. People you are seeing here, they are not Nigerians. We over 200 million. People are seeing here a few, you are calling Nigeria, meaning you are denting the image of the nation.
I think it might be like, let me say, jealousy sometimes, because when I first came here, maybe I didn't have anything, even maybe another pair of shoes to change. So sometimes you start to grow, or people will think that, oh, this guy is growing. Then the other guys, maybe mainly my age, they will start to be jealous. I don't know for what. Yeah, but I think xenophobia is all about jealousy against the foreigners.
I hear calling people foreigners, kwerekwere, you know, you are taking our jobs, you are corrupting our countries, you are doing this, what. So my question is this. I've seen a lot of the citizens themselves that are corrupt. Crime, you're talking about crime. I've seen a lot of them being caught with hijacking, killing, raping, and all these things. Crime is all over the world. That department should hand over to police. It's police duty to look after that, not as an individual.
At one time, I wanted to renew my paper. I was at, there was a Home Affairs there next to the sea there. I don't know the name now. Yes, hey, there were around about 10 security guards. Those security guards, it's like they didn't want people to get in. They were causing, like, they didn't want more people to get inside the building to renew papers. And more people wanted to renew their papers because without a stamp, you can't do nothing. So that incident there, it was painful because they used to make a lineup and start to beat people with those baton sticks. And I remember there was one lady from Ghana, because there's a main road there in front of that office. She was run over by a car. You know, that incident, up to now, if I can recall it, it was bad. Yeah, that incident was bad.
Now, a foreigner here, it means Zimbabwe. That's because we are many, and most of the Zimbabweans are getting their jobs here. Most of them.
We don't believe in stealing, actually. We believe in working, use our own hands. Like what I'm doing now, I'm making this fruit bowl. I'm doing it personally, so that's my way of getting income in a more transparent way than stealing or robbing somebody.
They take our wives, but I can't just come and grab you. We talk with each other, we agree. Did I take you? It's not a matter of coming and grab you and go with you. We have to talk with you. If you don't want, you don't want. I can't force you. But if you want, but most South African girls, they like Zimbabweans. They treat them nice. Understand? Am I lying?
You know those vampires, I'm one of them.
I'm an alien. You know what the fuck an alien is?
Then you're older than me.
Yeah. How much are these things?
It's 20 rands.
20.
It's a good place to live in. It's a fantastic place to stay in. Very nice. But if they tell me go home, I will go home. Fortunately, like, it hasn't happened, not yet happened to me. But if they say so, I have to. Because if you don't go now again, if they arrest you, you're gonna be in jail. Because if they arrest someone because doesn't have paper, let them just deport that person. But here what they do, they can arrest you for just not having papers. They'll put you to St. Albans. That place is not for, it's not for people who don't have papers. That place is for criminals. People are murderers, but they'll put someone just because of the paper. I've got 2 friends of mine, they were arrested, papers. They were there, but they were crying. There's that place, they are raping. You know, like a man sleeping with a fellow man. That is what is happening in St. Albans.
والله dagaal iyo rafaad kaas ugu soo tagnay dagaal iyo al-shabaab iyo waxa sax soo orodnay wallahi waxaad leedahay magaalada dad noo joogo malay oo ogtahay location hungura ka soo raadinayo magaalada wax la cunay malamo meesha shaqo iyo wax lama sara jooga meesha funaanadii taangadanaysa ay ku naqad wax ما والله وحلو فرحتني ماشي هذا الباب كمل بحي من حبسنا كجرنا عملوا
My best day was my last day, purely because it was the day that we filmed the Somalian brothers that own this puzzle shop. Even though, like, they told us all this horrible stuff about how people keep attacking them and they live in constant fear and they have no windows and have to bar themselves in and they don't have any fun, don't watch TV. All they do is listen to music and just work and sleep, sleep and work. But there was a sense of, like, just warmth and joy within them, just being around them, because there are 2 brothers who left everything because they were being threatened by Al-Shabaab. They came here, started this puzzle shop, and are not happy, but they're getting by. And I think what I liked about being around them was the company of the siblings being in each other's space. They didn't necessarily speak to each other all the time, but just the way that they maneuvered around each other was there was something very familiar and comforting in that. Their shop doubled up into their home, or rather their sleeping quarters. There were no doors and no windows. Their only means of entering or exiting their safe space was through a cage door the size of a car window.
الباب كان حد كور ماشان معناها كوكدا soo galeen laabiha waxa macnaha gadaashooda waxa soo socday tuuga soo socday marka mar walba albaabkan afuro problem leen u dhaco marka saas darteed u xirnay wallahi dadkan ayaga xitaa waa isdhacadaan laakiin anaka macnaha waa dad hadda Soomaaliya waxa dukaana ahayn ku yaal Soomaaliya nafa keent ma ugu meeshan dukaana Soomaaliya ma ku yaal wallahi waa waxyaal badan dareemaan iyo ina meel oo meeshan ka fiican hadii helay ina aad dareemaan laakiin hadda waxaan ku baxay malamo wallahi tan ay fiican hadii tii Soomaaliya tan hadii la isku dhigo laakiin tan hungurin waa ka helaada waxna adi jiifkan waa seexda baad Soomaali guriga bligu soo galay mo thank you boss funandol.
You don't feel happy, you feel sad if your brother is killing you, of which you do have the same skin. It's not good. Because I think you can't go to America. If I go to America as I am like now, a black man will never abuse me or tell me I'm a foreigner. But it is only in South Africa it's going to happen. You wonder why. America, they do history, they know their history. Blacks have contributed to the development of America. But here they don't know it, that foreigners, they have contributed a lot to the well-being of South Africa. They start to call you names. Not like, it's not something new, we know we are foreigners. But we have to be treated like brothers. That guy was bluffing this one. I myself, I think it's the history. The history also is contributing to that. Because like back home, I remember when I was studying, they told us, like our countries, like if you go Ghana, Tanzania, Nigeria, Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Kenya, at least each family during the apartheid, each family was contributing something. The first passport Mandela got, was from Senegal, because they refused to give me passport of South Africa, so I had to go to Senegal to get a passport to go to Europe.
Oh.
You see, Mugabe contributed a lot of things during apartheid. Most of the African countries did a lot. Like in my country, there was a camp for South Africans who were taught how to fight. In Tanzania also, there was a camp. But that thing I think is lacking. If they had told people about that, I think this wouldn't happen. But because of that, people are ignorant. They don't know anything. So they have that thing of, no, these guys, they have taken our jobs, or they are doing this and this and this. If they had known the history, I don't think they would have done this. That is my view, personally.
We just finished our last interview.
Yeah, it was pretty emotional. So that's a wrap for us.
Yeah, documentary.
This was an interesting process for me. I sought to find the humanity in the people who had been dehumanized as kwerekwere. And I think I succeeded. But what really scared me was that even after our characters expressed how they had been abused by police and other South Africans, in my mind, I began to minimize their struggle and compare it to mine. Like I too had experienced the police and their lack of effort, and my house was equally caged and barred to protect me from intruders. I'm a South African, and I'm constantly fearful of some of my own people. Then I realized that just by thinking that I was being xenophobic. And I couldn't understand why I was thinking like this. I became so possessive of my country and my struggle. For some odd reason, I was so determined to uphold the South African brand as pure that I somehow forgot that I'm also an African. Initially, I thought this film would help make a difference in re-educating me and other South Africans about the daily struggles of foreign nationals and help improve the quality of life of the foreign nationals. I actually believed that the mere act of having a camera and filming would make an instant change. And I was wrong. 2 days after our filming ended, one of the Somali brothers who owned the spaza shop was attacked and is currently fighting for his life.